Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
March 20, 2019, the In a Dark Place edition. And we begin with that story from the New York Times, which reports on a group of 13 disgruntled first-year analysts at Goldman Sachs who have made waves within the company by assembling a professional-looking presentation about the company's style, in the company's style, about their experiences there. The resulting working conditions survey said that they averaged 100 hours of work per week, and most considered themselves victims of workplace abuse. Now, this is from a group of people who made $150,000 annually right out of college, and of course have the promise of a 7-figure income much more quickly than the rest of us. Nevertheless, I would ask you to consider 100 hours a week. I may have done that in my life, but I'm not actually sure if I ever had to. Some of the quotes were fairly stark. Quote, "There was a point I was not eating, showering, doing anything else than working from morning until midnight," end quote. "My body physically hurts all the time, and mentally I'm in a really dark place. I didn't come into this job expecting 9 to 5s, but I didn't expect consistently 9 to 5 either." So it's an interesting trade-off people make. These places are sweatshops, so we'll leave that one to you. Next up, Visa facing antitrust investigation over debit card practices. The Justice Department, the Antitrust Division is investigating whether Visa engaged in anti-competitive practices in its debit card market, a probe that casts a cloud over a core part of its business. The Antitrust Division has begun gathering evidence and asking whether Visa has limited merchants' ability to route debit card transactions over card networks that are less expensive. Most of the department's questions have focused on online debit card transactions. So Visa may be running afoul of the Department of Justice. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Coinbase is to pay $6.5 million to settle CFTC investigation over its trading. The settlement says that Coinbase gave misleading information about its trading volumes. Of course, the company's about to go public, so this resolution is a big step forward for it. And finally, from the Washington Post, as you will note in the show notes, this is my shock face, but the regulators of the Texas energy industry have a conflict of interest because they all have holdings in the energy space. So I'm simply shocked to find that Texas regulators, who are the most energy-friendly group of regulators literally in the country, all have family holdings or other stocks. You're not required to divest in the great state of Texas. So you have to question when Texas regulators say we don't need wind or other alternative forms of power, we need more coal, or natural gas. That may be in their own self-interest to say so, certainly according to the Washington Post. So conflicts of interest abound in the regulatory space. Have a happy Saturday. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.